Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another live plan with me. Today, I will be planning out the week of, I think it's the 10th, question mark, through the 17th. I should be looking at a calendar, but I'm not because I am smart. The 10th through the 16th in my Moxie Life vertical weekly. If you can hear me on the live stream, please let me know in the comments. And if you are here on the replay, then say hi in the comments there so that I know that you're here. It is wonderful to see everyone. I am so sorry I missed last week, but I got hit by the allergy freight train. God, it sucked. You could probably hear it in my voice how congested I am. It's not COVID, it was allergies, but it was like fucking brutal allergies. Anyway, so the part of the reason that it bummed me out was because I really wanted to do a Spookytober where every week I do some sort of a like spooky Halloween kit, and I this year fell super hard for the Halloween stuff that my friend Keisha over at Little Spark did. And so I had her do 4 of her kits, and you'll see the other 2 in upcoming weeks. When I do my live show this month, it'll still be a Plan With Me style, but I'll be talking about the topic because I want to show you it. But I'm very excited about them. And this one is the one I was going to do last week, but I didn't because of the allergies. So I used a different kit this past week. I'll show you in a second. And this week is like a spooky garden. And as somebody who loves Little Shop of Horrors, like this could be like Audrey 2's home planet. And I fucking love it. So I'm very excited. Last week was a spooky carnival. So I'll show you what I did there. Here is this last week. My favorite thing from the whole week is this. It's brains, but it's meant to be like funnel cake. Fucking God damn it, I love it so much. So, yeah. Anyway. Ooh, you're from Modesto? Hell yeah. My parents took the song, what is it? Kokomo by the Beach Boys and made like a Central Valley of California version of it and called it Modesto. Yeah. Anyway, it's wonderful to see everybody. So let's get going. So I have this kit, and then the only washi tape I grabbed is just this green polka dot one that is from who knows where. Hopefully it is not all gross and that it still works, because this kit does come with a couple of kinds of washi. I did do something different last week. I'm going to try it this week, except I didn't actually do any of my blood pressure because I was feeling so crappy. But I moved my blood pressure down here and just did weather up above, and then because Keisha's got these little like meal planning stickers. So that's what I'm going to do this week as well. Maybe it'll break up at least a little bit of the bump I'm already, developing in my planner. Especially since I'm pretty sure I am going to be using a full year Moxie Life next year. So if you didn't see the announcement, I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. I'm going to just toot it. Little toot toot motherfuckers, if you will. I am one of Moxie Life's featured artists for this next year. Now, funny thing, I'm going to mention this now because I was actually thinking about it myself. It seemed to me that I could be perceived as being a little disingenuous with posting the thing that I posted about Cultivate What Matters getting bought out last week, right before I got announced as a Moxie Life featured artist. Now, nobody's accused me of this. I have not seen accusations of this anywhere, but it was something that I actually thought about. So I wanted to just mention it here because, why the fuck not? While I use one of the things I noticed, I can't really use my washi tape cutter, my palette knife with Keisha stickers. She uses these like kind of matte velvet stickers that don't really work well with that, but the slice tool does. I just don't want to be crooked. Anyway, I wanted to just mention that in the sake of transparency, that the reason, it just timed out that way, unfortunately. And it timed out that way because I found out when everybody else did that Cultivate What Matters got bought out. I had fully intended on reviewing the new power sheets. The review would be going up this coming up week, I think. Is that when it would be coming out? I don't remember what the date was. But it would have probably been this coming up week. And I had fully intended on even though I knew I wasn't going to use them next year because I had fully already moved over. Why am I having so much trouble with this right now? Did I just hella cut through my planner? Oh, I super did. Look at that. I hella pressed down harder than I meant to. Oh, well. Yeah. Right, Heather? But so I found out when everybody else did, and I made the video because I was like, I wanted to just get it out there because everybody and their mother was so like questioning like what the hell was happening. So the Moxie Life deal had actually gotten figured out way back in the spring. Like I got approached by them to be an artist for them shortly. I think I got the first word of it shortly after the launch last year. And so this has been in the works for almost a year now. So the timing just came out a little sus. Not sus on Moxie Life's part, but sus. I could see how somebody would feel like it was sus on my part. So I'm just mentioning it in the sake of transparency that no, that's just the way shit timed out. If I would have preferred to know about the Cultivate What Matters acquisition way back when it happened, that would have been fucking nice to know, especially after like talking about their 90-day power sheets and their daily planner and everything else. Like it sucked. That made me sad. Like this whole thing really bummed me out. So and I'm not going to talk too much about it today. Why am I having so much? I'm either cutting down too far or not far enough. Jesus, Hottentot Christ. One more time. Once more with feeling. I'm having issues. I feel like I need to change my little ceramic blade out. I think it's starting to get worn down in this slice tool. Jesus. Ugh, why are you not working? Oh my God. Let's go for a full blade here and just get this fucking cut before I lose my shit. These stickers are thick. Ha! Okay, there we go. I feel better now. Okay. Yeah, no, I would have had the same opinions regardless of whether or not I was working with Moxie. I'm not. And don't get me wrong. I am not saying anybody has accused me of this. If they have had those thoughts, if they had those thoughts, I haven't heard about them. I am specifically just thinking to myself in terms of optics. So what I did last week was I stuck the meals up here. But I think this, even though I didn't do my blood pressure, and I really need to do it this week because I have a doctor's appointment in a couple weeks and he expects a couple weeks worth of blood pressure. But I don't need this much space for blood pressure and I could use more space up here. So I'm going to move these down here. Just giving you the word to your mother. Oh my God. Fucking a hot goddamn mess right here. Yeah, I probably should have put my cutting pad under the paper marie, but well, we'll do that on the other side. So, Christine, Moxie Life every year, does two. This is at least the way they've operated since they started. They have done 4 flagship planner covers. And again, this is not like official information. This is just what I've observed. They've done 4 official, their 12-month flagship planners, the planners they started with. And of those 4 covers, 2 of them have just been done in-house. And then 2 of them have been collaborations with artists. I know that the first year, both of her flagship cover artists were, both of those covers were, I think they were 2 different colorways of the same cover. And it was by Peggy Dean of the Pigeon Letters. And then she's had other artists as well do covers. And I know that she likes to have at least one floral cover. Well, she felt like it made sense because I have been really into using Moxie Life this year. And I love making floral art. So she approached me to do the floral cover. Yeah. So that is, did you have a good time though, Pam? You love how I use song lyrics constantly. I fucking music. Oh man. Man, I love music. I love singing. I sing all the time at home, sometimes for the fun, sometimes to annoy my family, which I guess is also for the fun because I'm part of the my mother told me when I was a kid that one of her favorite parts of being a mom was annoying the shit out of her children. And I was like, how dare you? And now I'm a mom and I'm like, I wish my mother was still alive so that I could let her know that she was right. And I'm annoying the shit out of your children is the joy of being a parent. Oh, I love it so much. And I love this palette too. These colors they actually, you know what they make me think of? They make me think a little bit of the colors that Kristen used for the October calendar. Like these are a little more vibrant, but they're similar in like vibe, which I like. Nice, Pam. That's my like ideal honeymoon is going, because you know we've been married for almost 10 years now. We still haven't had our honeymoon. Speaking of okay. So this is funny, but like I don't know if it's because I've been like a broke ass bitch for most of my life or what, but every time I notice people who are younger than me and like going through some of the same life shit that I went through, I always notice when there's some kind of a like, I don't know, popular thing or whatever that is popular, I guess, when I'm just gonna, instead of washi, I'm putting these to-do stickers down. Something that has gotten popular and trendy, but wasn't when I was in that life stage. And I just look at these things with like an eyebrow raised, like the fuck? So one of the first things and that was not a very good explanation, but maybe this will make it clear. The first time I really noticed this phenomenon was with gender reveal parties. Now, generally speaking, I find gender reveal parties to be a little whack. Like, why are you celebrating your baby's genitals? Because ultimately that's what it boils down to. But I can understand wanting to have any kind of celebration you want, right? But like gender reveal parties, like, are they meant to be like another baby shower? Do you get presents for those? What the fuck? Like, I had a baby shower when I was pregnant with Sunny. I didn't even have a baby shower when I was pregnant with RJ because I still had all my shit left over from when I had Sunny. And back in my day, like, if it was a little uncouth to do a second baby shower, at least in the people that I knew. But I didn't really need one anyway. What I needed was diaper money. And so, so gender reveal party is one of those things. And I'll get back to the Moxie covers in a second, but I'm on a complete and total tangent right now. The other thing that recently I noticed, and it was because I saw Plan with Lore's stuff on Instagram, and I just had this moment where they spent a week in Colorado. This is not me judging her. This is me being honestly baffled. They spent a week in Colorado, and this was their mini moon. What the fuck is the difference between a mini moon and a honeymoon? I assume a mini moon would be like going away for like an overnight. That's what Jess and I did after we got married. We just stayed in a nice hotel, but we haven't had the chance to go on a honeymoon because we've had fucking life like in our way. But like, I don't understand. Will somebody explain to me? Because when she was like, yeah, because I was excited, I was curious because they went to Estes Park, which is somewhere I want to go. And I was like, ooh, that's cool. So I was following along, like looking at her reels and stuff. And she kept calling it a mini moon. And I'm like, but what is a mini moon? Like in relation to a honeymoon? What the fuck is a mini moon? I don't understand. The second baby shower is called a sprinkle. Okay, that's cute. That's fucking cute. Except, I was going to say, just like when you get peed on by your baby, but then I remembered what happened to me when I would diaper RJ was not a sprinkle. It was a fucking like wave. Okay, I'm looking on the comments, and so the consensus seems to be that mini moons are like shorter than a honeymoon, and there's something in to do if you want to go on like a big overseas honeymoon and you can't do that right away. So that's what a mini moon is. Okay. Again, that's I get it, like that makes sense, but it's still baffling to me as somebody who has neither had the funds nor the time to even go on a regular honeymoon, let alone a mini moon. So yeah, maybe that I'll just continue to be baffled. This is my Grandpa Simpson get off my lawn moment here. The third one is a drip. Yeah, we also, I will say, fun fact about RJ, I learned something when it, like, since you've already had conversations about gender reveal parties and talking about babies like personal parts, I learned something. The most valuable thing I learned when I was parenting RJ, because Sunny was my first kid, assigned female at birth. Didn't really have any problems there when it came to the diapering situation. I figured it out. We even used a changing table and all that. Didn't use a changing table for RJ because at that point it was like, what the fuck is the point of extra furniture? I'm just going to change him on the bed or on the floor. You know, just use a changing pad so that in case there's like, you know, explosions that it's taken care of. It just made more sense, right? Well, the thing I didn't know about diapering people who are assigned male at birth versus female at birth, I couldn't figure out why it was that every time I changed RJ and put him in a fresh diaper, in a fresh onesie, that moments later, he would soak the whole thing with his piss. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what in the ever-living fuck is happening here where that I change the diaper and then he pees all over himself. And I change the diaper and then he pees all over himself. What am I doing wrong? Well, here is a tip for those of you who may find yourself in a similar situation where you are diapering someone, a baby with a penis, and you are having the same problem where they just keep pissing all over themselves and you don't understand what the hell you're doing wrong. Here's what I was doing wrong. You need to make sure that if this is the unit and this is the baby's belly, okay? If this is the baby's belly and this is the unit, you need to make sure it's pointing downwards when you diaper it, not upwards. I kept diapering it upwards, so he was pissing right out the top of his diaper. You would think that would be obvious, or that they would tell me about it at the hospital, but they didn't, probably because this is my second kid and I didn't need it. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that I thought I was losing my shit. It took me a fucking week to figure that out. I'm just letting you know. And if you're thinking, Cindy, why are you talking about RJ's junk on the internet? I have told this story to so many people. He is used to it by now. Yeah, no, RJ never peed on me, except for like maybe once. He did fucking diarrhea rock at me once, all over my pants. Because I was seeing like crisscross applesauce on the floor when that happened. But he never peed on me except for like one time, and it kind of got in my face and it was gross. But generally speaking, what would happen was I would change him and then he would piss right out the top of his diaper. Your mini moon was the night away when we got married. Then we did a long trip. See, and that's kind of what like I felt like our mini moon was just our time at the, like, we went the night we got married. We went to like one of the nice hotels in Bend and stayed there, got a room and like a nice dinner, except we were so full from the barbecue at my wedding that we felt like we were going to die afterwards, which was still fun. There's something to be said for eating until you burst. So coming back to the Moxie Life thing. So yes, I am one of the featured artists. If you want to see what the cover looks like, you can head over to Instagram. They also sent it out in their emails. They might be on their website already too. Mine is the Blackberry Fields cover. I didn't name it. They named it, but it's a cute name. It's purple. I really like it. And the other thing that I'm excited about, and I will be doing a full review of everything as soon as I get it in my hot little hands. But, one of the other things I'm really excited about, because I don't know if you remember, but when I said that I picked these, the undated planner, it wasn't even the coil. Like, I can live with the YRO binding if I have to, but it wasn't the coil. It was the fact that the habit trackers were the colors of their months, and there also were colors up at the top. Well, they made the weeks completely grayscale, in part because I bitched about it. So that in and of itself, I always love when a company, Moxie Life is not the first company that has made changes based on, in part, me bitching. But I appreciate that. It's like, I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just saying what I don't like. And apparently, yay. So that makes me excited, because then I have no real qualms about using the YRO binding in the year-long planner next year. I know that they're hoping maybe to be able to bring this coil to all their planners at some point, but that's not the case for this year yet. Did I do line art and then they did the coloring? No, I did the coloring as well. And I did offer them a couple of different colorways to choose from based on the color palette that they gave me, which is their new color palette, which I think is stunning. They gave me the new color palette, and then I made the art. I showed them sketches of the art, and then when I made it into the pattern for the cover, I recolored it a couple different ways and then gave it to them as a suggestion. And then they picked the one they liked. Anyway, so I've been talking through planning, but I'll just say that instead of a washi, I put the to-do stickers down here. I think I like this better. It gives me a little more space. I really love these full boxes, and I wanted to make sure to use them, which was part of why I wanted to conserve a little bit more space down here. And then I just added the spots for the videos that are going up this week. Yeah, their new color palette is so sexy. It's very pretty. All right, so let's work on this side now. And here we go. Back to my cutting catastrophe. Hi, Dee. I'm going to follow what Marie suggested and grab my cutting pad so that if I do press down super hard, at least I won't cut through to the other page. Anyway, oh, bend over, Cindy, bend over. Oh, bend over. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to talk real quick because that was the big news. I got a lot of comments on Instagram, and then there's some of you who don't have Instagram that left comments on my most recent video about the Moxie Life thing, because you got the email, and I just wanted to let you all know I saw those, and I wasn't great at responding a lot this week because I have been so out of it, but I appreciate everybody's kind words and such, and I don't even know how to change this. I haven't learned that yet, so maybe that's something to work on at some point. But yeah, I am just I am thrilled because, like, now normally I tend to shy away from using stuff. Like, I do use some of my Steve stickers because I love Steve, and I do use some of my lettering stickers from Kristen, but I a lot of the times will shy away from using stuff that has my artwork on it because it feels weird to me. Imagine it as like akin to not liking the sound of your own voice when you are seeing like yourself video recorded or whatever, or hearing yourself in like a voicemail. It's the same kind of feeling, that like awkward kind of weirdness that comes from hearing the sound of your own voice. I tend to feel the same way when it comes to using stuff that has my art. Not things I make myself, but things that like I've licensed or like done for other people. There's just something about it that weirds me out. However, I really love my cover for Moxie Life. If I was going to pick a different one, I would probably pick the chevron cover, which is the one the other artist did, because I really like that one as well. But I love flowers. I love the purple. So, hell yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay. That's not the business. Come on, tear. Ugh. Why is this green one harder to use? I don't understand. I'm going to put this underneath here to save myself a little bit of a pain here. It's like this paper is different, but they come from the same fucking sheet. I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay. Fuck, where does this go? Right here. I'm looking at the comments. Heather. Yeah. No, I actually really like my cover. So, like, I'm going to use that one instead, I think, this year. But yeah, we'll see. Although I love the colors that they're using for like the dailies and the weeklies. The one that I'm excited to see, and I think I have in my review pack that's coming, is Cloud, which is, if you look at their Cloud cover, that people were asking like the color of the actual line work on my cover, because the lavender from the palette, it's the same color as the Cloud cover. So like that creamy, like kind of off-white, like closer to white than off-white, but it's like kind of marshmallowy in color. Fucking love it. I think it's so pretty. All right. A full week Cindy Art Week. Oh man, I need to do a couple pen only spreads soon. Maybe that'll happen during Vlogmas. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. No, the white one. The saturated teal is really pretty, Heather. But I tend to, when it comes to greens, I really love a green like this. Like, I love teals. I think that they're pretty. But I like lighter colors when it comes to a lot of my planner stuff. And I think it's just because I like all my desk and everything is white. So the darker the covers are, the more like shadowy it feels like my desk feels sometimes. And since I don't get a lot of hardly any natural light down in the basement at all, I think I've been gravitating more towards lighter colors since moving here. Am I planning to catch Halloween Ends on what day does it premiere? I haven't looked at. I know we're gonna go see it in the theater. I already told Jesse. He's like, but I don't want to go to the theater. It's full of disease. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die watching Halloween. Ooh, it's this week. We're gonna have to make a date for this weekend. I'll have to talk to him about it. But yeah, I want to see it in the theater. Because fuck yeah, I want to see it in the theater. You'll laugh at me. The first Halloween movie I ever saw in the theater, because I wasn't really old enough to go see them in the theater when I was a kid, and my mom was so anti-horror movies. Well, she wasn't anti-horror movies. Well, okay, that's not true. She was anti-horror movies, but for weird reasons. And she wasn't anti the Halloween movies. Her very specific beefs were with the Child's Play movies and with, because Chucky cusses too much, and the Friday the 13th movies because she thought that they were pointless. But she didn't care if we watched the other ones. But she wouldn't take us to the movie theater to see them because she was kind of a wimp. She admitted it. And she got to see, fucking pisses me off, my mom got to see the original Halloween in the theater in the 70s when it came out because she was 18. She got to see the original Child's Play in the theater. And that was when she swore off of horror movies because it scared her too badly. But I was not old enough to go see a horror movie in the theater until Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, which is arguably one of the crappier movies in the franchise. And so I was like, so whenever I get the opportunity to see a good, or at least a potentially good Halloween movie in the theater, I'm like, it's time. It is time. And that will be Halloween Ends. Thank you very much. And even if you want to judge for the hilariousness of Evil Dies Tonight from Halloween, the Halloween Kills, I'm going to tell you that we saw that movie in the theater, and I was a fan of it, personally. Sure, it was hokey. Sure. But I don't care. I loved it. So, all you haters can suck it. Or as RJ would say, you could bend over and see my balls, which is his new current insult, which I find very funny. So, yes, I am okay with my 16-year-old saying, see my balls. Yes, I am. Fucking my boy. Mom of the year right here, right? Yeah, during the movie, it didn't bother me either. It just started to bother me after the fact when everybody and their mother would not shut up about it. And I was like, whatever. I thought the movie was fucking rad. It was everything I wanted. I love horror movies. What did I watch this weekend? Okay. And if you're a patron, I think I rant about this in the update that goes up tomorrow. The new Firestarter movie with Zac Efron is some hot garbage. Now, please don't mistake me. I was very looking forward to it because I'm a Stephen King fan. And even though I was not into High School Musical, Zac Efron completely won me over when he was in The Greatest Showman. I thought the little kid that they cast to play Charlie was adorable. I love that they actually cast like a First Peoples type person to play Rainbird instead of George C. Scott and then saying that he's like Native American. Like, are you fucking joking? Like, I felt like the Firestarter movie had a lot going for it that I was excited about, and I kept watching it, and I kept waiting for it to get good, and it never did, and I was fucking bummed. I was so bummed. So, I mean, to be fair, Firestarter is not one of Stephen King's better books. And the Drew Barrymore movie also was like mediocre. Mediocre with an adorable kid in it. So, who knows? Maybe it's just not meant to be a good movie. I don't know. But Zac Efron plays an adorable dad. And Charlie, the little kid playing Charlie, is an adorable little kid. But the movie, don't waste your time. Like I did. Heather, I have no idea why what RJ says makes logical sense. It's just funny to me. Yeah. No, I was so excited for Firestarter when I heard that they were remaking it. I was like, hell yes. And then I watched it and I was like, hell no. Damn it. which now gives me like some trepidation for the Salem's Lot remake they just pushed back. Now I'm worried about that. Like, come on, Stephen King movies. Don't do me dirty. I don't know why. I'm expecting to not get done dirty. I have been done dirty every fucking time I have ever cared about a Stephen King adaptation, except for the first It. The first It was done so well, and that's my favorite Stephen King book. But like everything that has come out in recent years, this most recent Stephen King assance has been like, there's been some good ones, and then some okay, like there's been a lot of mediocrity and some really fucking disappointing shit. And Firestarter was one of those disappointing ones. The New Pet Cemetery did not disappoint me that much because I felt that while I didn't like love it as much as I loved the first one, I really liked the actor playing Rachel, the mom. I just adored her. I thought she did so well, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but I thought that it was a missed opportunity for them to go harder. Like, even with the changes they made, it was a missed opportunity. But, and that was my first Stephen King book I ever read. But it wasn't bad. It was just not as good as I had hoped it would be. And I did go see that one in the theater. Yes, the kit is from A Little Spark. I'm just scrolling through some of these comments. Yeah, I concede that the Stanley Kubrick Shining, this is me going deep into my nerdly territory here. The Stanley Kubrick Shining is an outstanding horror movie. It is a classic horror movie. It is not a good adaptation. And while the ending, I feel like did not do service to the original book, the biggest reason that I dislike the Kubrick Shining as an adaptation is because I feel that Jack Nicholson was all wrong for the part if they were trying to adapt the book. Because the character of Jack Torrance in the book is a guy who honestly loves his family, but is struggling with alcoholism. And you get the sense from the book of this family that is falling apart, both from the alcoholism and from the forces of evil in the hotel, right? With Jack Nicholson, you fucking know that he's like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs from the beginning. And he doesn't seem to really like his family all that much. He doesn't seem to really like Wendy all that much. He doesn't really seem to like his kid all that much. Like, there isn't any pathos there. It is scary, but there is no heart to, like, the family as a unit, which is why, as an adaptation, I think it blows. It's a great movie, though. It's just not an adaptation. And then when you have the remake that they did in the 90s for TV, so Steven Weber from Wings plays Jack, and he and Rebecca De Mornay are so much more the Jack and Wendy from the book to me. But the little kid who plays Danny is fucking annoying. He's so annoying. He is so annoying. I hate talking shit about little kids, but I will fucking talk shit on that kid. That kid's fucking annoying. And it's so slow because he's trying so hard to adapt it that he fucking over-adapts it. And so neither of them are, like, the original Shining is a fantastic horror movie, but a shitty adaptation. The remake Shining is a better adaptation, but not a very good horror movie. I think out of all of them, Dr. Sleep is the one that I enjoyed the most. I do want to go to the Stanley Hotel. The biggest issue we run into is that it's not dog friendly, so we would have to figure out what to do with Layla before we went there. We're thinking of going to Estes Park and staying in a dog friendly place and just going to visit the Stanley Hotel. But yeah. I have heard that the Interview with the Vampire show is actually good, especially once Claudia gets involved. I have not watched it yet. I can only handle so many shows at once. And currently this is a House of the Dragon kind of lifestyle that I'm living. But also, I am, when I'm able to remember, watching the new episodes of The Serpent Queen. Once both of those are over with, on my list of shows to watch or at least check out are season 2 of Chucky, The Interview with the Vampire Show, and then they're doing on Showtime, they're doing a TV version of Let the Right One In, which if you haven't seen, if you like vampire movies and you haven't seen Let the Right One In, what the hell are you doing with your life? Let the Right One In is an outstanding vampire movie, and the book is really good too. Let Me In, which is the American remake, because Let the Right One In is Swedish, is also really good, but I would suggest that the Swedish version is better. Vicky, this is from A Little Spark. Oh, I don't remember what it's called. It's like Ghoulish Garden or something like that. It's like a spooky garden, and I fucking love it. This eyeball sticker is my absolute favorite. No, Anita, though, I'm not talking shit about the actor. I find very annoying. The Serpent Queen is awesome. What you could do, which is what I did with Chucky, because I don't have cable, so I don't have USA or whatever the hell it is Chucky is on. I waited till it was over and I just bought the season from Amazon to watch. Okay, Layla. No spend. Why am I brain farting on my last one? Plants. Okay, there's all my habits. And then I get my Roomba schedule in here. Yeah, there's like a horror and fantasy renaissance going on with TV right now, though. Between Interview with the Vampire, Let the Right One In is coming out. Oh, the vampires for Teresa. What kind of vampires would you be? I would suggest that the Let the Right One In vampire is akin to I would say it's like if you took kind of Interview with the Vampire and you crossed it with The Passage. You know, sad vampire that is very brutal. They're paper Pam. They're like, so you can use the same sticker, I'm having no problem using the same pen on the paper as I am on the stickers. The only thing is the stickers have kind of a velvety kind of feel to them, which is a little triggering for my like texture, tactile situations, but I don't sit here rubbing my hands on the stickers, so it's fine. Let the Right One In is the TV show is going to be on Showtime, and the only reason I even found out about it was because I signed up for a free Showtime trial on Amazon Prime because I found out this is gonna be so random. So one of my favorite movies from the 80s is Better Off Dead with John Cusack. I fucking love that movie. That movie has not been available for streaming for fucking years. It finally became available for streaming on Showtime, so I signed up for a free trial so I could watch it. And then I'm just going to cancel the free trial. But then once all of Let the Right One In airs, I'll probably sign back up again for Showtime long enough to binge it. And then because I don't need to have it all the time. But yeah. Megan's asking the question: when a kit has art like this, is it typically hand-drawn or traced from pictures? It's typically hand-drawn. I know that Keisha contracts with artists to do custom artwork for her. I want my $2. Yes. Yes. That movie is fucking amazing. You're going to make some my French dinners, some French bread with some French dressing, French fries, and to drink, Peru. Okay, so now that we've gotten kind of the skeleton, the Skeletor in, let's do the actual planning here, huh? Okay, so Monday, tomorrow I need to work, but I also want to vlog, and I need to go to the grocery store in the morning because this weekend I just haven't had the chance to. I already have my meal plan and most of my grocery list, and I'm going to finish it tonight. But yeah, I need to blah, blah. I need to do that tomorrow morning. So what am I gonna do? 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 What am I gonna use for my Layla walks this week? What did I use last week? I used these sparklies for Layla walks. But Jesse's walking her in the morning, so I don't need to do that. So maybe what I will do is take a... No, not you, because there's a... Okay, I'm talking to myself. Let's not worry. Better Off Dead is goddamn amazing. Better Off Dead, if you've never seen it, is so funny. My favorite is when they're up on top of the K-12 and he's with, oh fuck, is his name like, it's Curtis Lamar or something like that in the movie, but I always just think of him as Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. He's sitting there with John Cusack, who's trying to get the nerve up to go ski down this massive, this like super dangerous slope. And fucking Booger is sitting there like always looking for new drugs in his small town. And he snorts the snow and he's like, this mountain is pure snow, man. Look, I froze the left half of my brain. I can't move my right arm. Oh, I love that movie so much. Oh, it makes me so happy. If you've ever seen the South Park episode where there's like the skiing tournament, that's the one that they make fun of Better Off Dead with. They like use that to make fun of Better Off Dead. Grocery. Do you know the street value of this mountain? Yes. What other good vampire movies are out there? Okay, so like I said, Let the Right One In is just outstanding. Another really good vampire movie that I personally love is oh, what the hell is it called? Why am I brain farting? It's like a vampire action movie. There's Vampires with James Woods, which is a lot of fun. But the one I'm thinking of is one, it's got Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen in it. And they're like a motorcycle gang of vampires. After Dark? Is that what it is? Is that what it's called? Very gruesome, but it's a really good movie. I love The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys is one of my favorites. Although, to be fair, the first time I ever saw it was when I was a kid and it was on like Fox or something, like on a broadcast channel. So it was heavily censored. And I only saw bits and pieces of it on a black and white TV. I didn't realize it was about vampires. I was like, this is kind of a cool movie with all the Goonies people in it or whatever. That was all I got out of it. So yeah. But yeah, so I would say The Lost Boys, whatever that movie is with Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn is awesome. Yeah, I also really like Blade. I love Blade 2 also. I find Blade 2 to be... I don't really like Blade 3, but Blade 1 and Blade 2 both are awesome for me. What What else? What else? What else? What else? I have also heard that The Invitation, the new one that just came out with what's her face from Game of Thrones, is supposed to be really, really good. Uh oh, there was another one too that I was just thinking of. I'm brain farting on. Oh, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Jesse and I consider that to be our favorite romantic movie. Like that's our favorite romance movie to watch together is Bram Stoker's Dracula. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about Jesse's and my relationship, then I don't know what will. Dracula Daily. Ooh, I love you. I love that. I love you. I love that. Near Dark. I think that's what it's called. Yes. If you want one that's kind of slow, but is a really interesting movie and kind of a little creepier rather than scary. What is it called? In the Shadow of the Vampire, I think is what it's called. It stars John Malkovich, and it's got John Malkovich, it's got Willem Dafoe, Carrie Elways is in it, and it's about the making of the movie Nosferatu. If the Count Orlok, the vampire from Nosferatu, was actually a vampire. It's very good. Also, not a vampire movie, but has a vampire in it as one of the main monsters. The fucking Monster Squad, my dudes. The Monster Squad, if you're not into scary movies, Monster Squad's got some scary moments, but it's like if the Goonies met the Hammer movie monsters. Like, you know, the creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula and the Wolfman and Frankenstein. That is where the hallowed movie line, Wolfman's Got Nards, comes from. Yeah. Yeah, I was also obsessed with Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think Carrie Elways is a babe, so I'll watch anything with him in it. All right, and so vlog, grocery store, and then I have a phone call at 1, and then Layla's walk in the afternoon. Dark Shadow show. What was that other show that was on? I think it was in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was about like vampire clans. I feel like it was based on like a role-playing game. It was called like Vampires the Legacy or something like that, and there were these groups of vampires. I'm not talking about like the Vampire Diaries or any of that bullshit. I'm talking about this movie. This was like a show that was on in like the late 80s, early 90s called Vampires. I want to say like Magic the Gathering, like Vampires the Gathering, but I feel like that's wrong. But it was a show, and I remember watching it as a kid and being super into it. And then it was canceled. Who's in Bram Stoker's Dracula? It's from the early 90s, Donna, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Gary Oldman plays Dracula. Anthony Hopkins is Van Helsing. Winona Ryder's in it as Mina. Carrie Elways is in it, and he's a babe. And then Keanu Reeves is in it with the worst British accent you have ever heard. It is so funny. Like, that whole movie is so decadent, and the costumes are gorgeous, and the music is gorgeous, and he decided to make it using only practical effects. So it's a really effective, well-done movie. And then you have Keanu Reeves showing up with the worst accent ever. Yeah, it's a show, not the game, but it's like Vampire the Masquerade. Is that the show that it was? Because there was a show, and it was on briefly. I'm going to look this up. I got to figure this out. Vampires TV show. Early 90s. Not Dracula the series. That's not right. No. No. No, no, no. No, no, no. Kindred the Embraced. That's what it was called. Kindred the Embraced. This article is referring to it as a cross between The Godfather and Melrose Place. Kindred, yes, Kindred the Embraced. And then also Buffy. You know, I know Joss Whedon is kind of a shitbag, but fuck, dude, Buffy will always have a special place in my heart. I'm not gonna lie. I can never divest myself from Buffy, I don't think. Buffy and Angel, yes. All right, there's tomorrow. Okay, so then here's a question for you all, since we're on the subject of games. Did anybody, besides my family, who we are still obsessed with it, enjoy the board game called Nightmare? Now, I know in other countries it was called something else, but in the US it was called Nightmare. And the way it worked was you had a game board and it looked like a graveyard, and then everybody played a different like species of like monster with like a name. And the way you played it was you put on a VHS tape of this guy who was like the crypt keeper or something, but he was like, or the game master or something like that. But then the game was an hour long, and the later and later you go in the game, the creepier and like more decrepit this dude would look, and he'd yell at you. And he'd start getting louder, and then you get cards where you had to do shit. And I remember there was this one where I had to scream at a specific time on the thing, but nobody was supposed to know about it. So you're just sitting there playing, and then you see the time hits X number, and you have to just shriek at the top of your lungs. I did that, and we were playing at my sister's house, and her cat freaked out and scratched my nibbling. Your hubby had it? Yeah. It was called something else, though, in other places. Nightmare, the game, had a different name. Nightmare, the board game. Atmosphere was the other name of it. And then, like, the thing that we always remembered was that there's a point where he calls out whoever the youngest person is playing, and then for the rest of the game, the guy only refers to that and keeps picking on that person and calls them the little maggot. And then the oldest person, which was always me, because my parents never played with us. The oldest person was always referred to as the old one. I know nobody is as old as you, and he just starts making fun of you for the whole fucking game. He makes fun of you as the old one, and then the youngest one is the little maggot. Oh, so much fun. We would play it, and we had, even in the box, like, we go to my sister's, we'll still play it. We have those little, like, electric, like the battery-powered tea lights, and we'll turn those on, then turn all the lights off and put this game on. It gets so stressful at the end. You just want someone to win, because if nobody wins, then he fucking wins. And by the end of it, you don't want this motherfucker to win, because he's a jerk. So, okay, Tuesday, Jess and Layla are going to the office, so I need to walk her in the morning. And then I have Patreon Live that day, and that's all I have on my schedule so far. And I got to keep moving on this, because as soon as I'm done here, I got to finish my grocery list and get ready for that so we can watch Hot D tonight. But yeah, Nightmare was the fucking jam, dude. So good. But yeah, I was the old one. And in the most recent game, the last time we played it, my nibbling Reagan was the little maggot. Anyway. So yeah. But no, I've been watching... What did I watch yesterday? I did watch a horror movie yesterday. I watched Misery yesterday while I was laying down. I wasn't feeling very good, so I was laying down. And I watched Misery, which Unlike The Shining, Misery to me is probably one of the best Stephen King adaptations. Like, by far. I fucking love Misery. I feel like Annie Wilkes and Kathy Bates, like, it was scary to me how Annie Wilkes basically just stepped off of the page and became Kathy Bates. I'm sorry you couldn't find your bullet journal in the move. That fucking sucks when you move and you can't find anything for like the longest goddamn time. That's been my... There are still things I don't know where they are. Do we have anything smaller? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, Kathy Bates. Misery is just... Yeah, Misery While Miserable. Misery is just such a good movie. It's making me... I just decided to reread the book because it's been a while since I've read it. It's been a while. And I also really love the book. And any of the changes that they made for the book, from the book to the movie, just felt like they worked in terms of the form of storytelling. The book is also very good. I 10 out of 10 recommend the book if you're into reading horror novels. One of my biggest things I love about the book of Misery is, if you've seen it, you know that during the movie, he's writing the book Misery's Return. In the book, you actually get pieces of the manuscript of Misery's Return as he's writing it. Like, you don't get the whole thing, but you get a bunch of it. And one of the things that I fucking love about it is that you kind of see, as his like mental state is deteriorating, you see how it manifests in the book he's writing, which is fascinating. Like, I would love it if Stephen King took some time and just wrote the whole of Misery's Return. And the copy of Misery I have, actually, when you open the front cover, it's a paperback. I actually, one of my things I like to collect is some of Stephen King's paperback books, paperback editions that have like special editions where they're interesting. Like, they're not in pristine condition. I tend to read them, so they tend to get a little jacked up. However, I just think they're so cool. So it's like a copy of The Shining where the cover is like silver foil, so it's shiny. The Misery cover is one of my favorites, where you have the cover and it just has like Paul Sheldon on it or whatever, and it's Misery. But then you open the front cover and there's a second cover, but this one is like a Fabio-style romance novel that says Misery's Return, except the Fabio guy with the big hairy chest is actually Stephen King. It's pretty awesome. My other favorite one is my Salem's Lot cover. It's black with a raised like imprint, all in black, of a child's face with one drop of red blood. Very cool. Aw, Maudie, that's awesome. Tell everybody I said hi. Oh, speaking of vampire stuff, to head back, if you are at all interested in vampire stuff, for a show, check out Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is outstanding. If you've ever read Salem's Lot by Stephen King, it has a very similar vibe to it, which is something that I am really into. So Jesse's work just decided to go from paying them bi-monthly, so like on the 1st and the 15th, or the 15th and the 30th, or whatever the hell it was, to every other week. Because while Jesse and a lot of his other coworkers are salaried, and so it made more sense that way for them, their call center is hourly, and it was actually kind of shitty for them to get paid twice a month. So they swapped over to a new payroll system that's having them getting paid every other week. And we just have to, since we have had the twice a month pay system for years now, we're just getting used to it. Oh, I'm sorry, Pam. step back covers. Luna, those are actually very similar to what they did for VC Andrews, where you would open your cover. They'd have like the front. You guys remember, those of you who read VC Andrews, there was like the cover with like the cutout with like the one spooky girl face, and you open it and you see all of her fucked up family. I used to have a bunch of those too. Not gonna lie, fucking VC Andrews fan up in this house. Up in this house. And I got RJ to sit through the Heaven movies on Lifetime with me, and he was like both horrified and couldn't look away. No worries, Christy. Nice, Katie. Yeah, we oh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the covers of E.C. Andrew were creepy. So the new Salem's Lot, Donna, was originally supposed to come out in like April or something, and they've pushed it. They still haven't released a lot about it, so I'm really nervous because the 70s version I thought was very well done. I didn't like how they portrayed the main vampire Barlow as like a Nosferatu type, because I like in the book how he's kind of more suave. And then they made the TV movie of it back in like the early 90s or the early 2000s with Rob Lowe. And then it had James Cromwell in it and like Rutger Hauer. And it was, again, it was kind of well done, but it had that like hokey TV movie feel to it. And I just wasn't a fan of the way they did it. So I've been hoping for like a really good Salem's Lot remake because I love the book. If you've ever read, Salem's Lot is kind of like if Dracula landed in like a small rural town in the US, and I love it. I love the town building in it, which is also why I really like Midnight Mass, because I know Mike Flanagan is a big fan of, the director of Midnight Mass is a big fan of Stephen King, and you can really tell when you're watching Midnight Mass that Salem's Lot was one of his books that he really enjoyed. So yeah, I'm nervous about Salem's Lot as the new movie coming out, even though the cast sounds really awesome. Pilu Asbeck, who was in Game of Thrones as Euron Greyjoy, which, don't get me wrong, I felt like Euron Greyjoy in the show sucked ass compared to the fucking sinister creepy man that he is in the books, but I think that Pilu Asbeck did a great job with what he was given. But he is supposed to be playing Straker, who's like the familiar of the vampire, and so I'm excited for that. It's supposed to have Alfre Woodard in it. They're changing one of the characters to a woman, and she's going to be playing that character. Like, it sounds promising. I'm just really worried. Whenever a movie gets pushed back like that, it starts to like raise some alarm bells in my head of like, fuck, what's wrong with it? You know what I'm saying? Okay, Sunny has a doctor's appointment on Wednesday that I have to take them to. It was one that they were supposed to have this past week, but they were not feeling good, so we rescheduled it for them. Yeah, Kelly, I really liked the Discovery of Witches books. I wasn't a huge fan of, I haven't finished the final season of the show. I love Matthew Good as what's his face, as De Claremont, because he is fucking hot. But I thought that the chick that they got to play Diana was so bland. She like had like, she was flat, and it kind of threw me. I really liked a lot of the casting. I just didn't like, it was because the main character just wasn't doing it for me. It made it hard for me to enjoy the show as much as I had wanted to. Although, like I said, Matthew Good is a fucking babe, and I will watch goddamn anything in it with him in it. I've heard that Wednesday is supposed to be really good too, but I only have so much fucking, the fact that I'm watching House of the Dragon and fitting the Serpent Queen in when I can is actually fairly surprising to me. I'll be real, because I'm usually not very good at balancing more than one show at a time. And House of the Dragon has all of my love right now, because god damn it, it is awesome. It is so well done. and it's on tonight, and I'm excited. So for those of you who watch House of the Dragon who have not read the books, tonight there is going to be another time jump, but it's probably I am 90% certain, 99% certain that this should be the last time jump, because once we get through this time jump, we'll be right at the start of the conflict of like the real conflict of the series, as opposed to prologue. Everything that's happened up to this point is prologue. And it's a lot of setup. It's like 30 years of setup to get to this point. And tonight, we get into the actors in their like final forms, like the people who are going to be playing them for likely the rest of the series. So, yeah, that's what to expect. And I just want to let you guys know that, because I know that some people have found the time jumps a little intense. And so this will be the last one. No, Matt Smith's going to be staying the character. Donna, he is actually phenomenal in Hot D. He is outstanding. I am just so impressed. I'm impressed with all of the casting. I'll be real. I really hope that Paddy Considine, who's playing King Viserys, gets nominated for an Emmy this year, because he took a character who basically barely even exists in the book and made him like so good. There has been a few people both on this show and on Game of Thrones where they took a character from the books and like elevated them, in my mind. And that's hard to do. In the Game of Thrones, in the first season, there were two characters that were elevated by their actors' performances for me. One was the Mark Addy as Robert Baratheon. Robert Baratheon, I give two shits about when I was reading the book. But in the show, fucking Bobby B is my boy. And then Viserys, Daenerys' brother, the Crown of Gold guy, Harry Lloyd, who played him, again, elevated someone who's basically like a caricature in the book to being somebody who still sucks, but somebody I was really into watching. Okay, Friday, I'm doing a 3-day weekend, so Friday I'm taking off. So I'm going to use this recharge sticker. Now, I'd like to go to the Botanic Gardens, both because I just want to, and because I need to take some pictures for a project I'm working on. But I just don't know if I'm going to make it there or not that day. So, because I'm supposed to go on like the last 2 weekends in a row. So I'm just going to I'm not going to put anything in there yet. But I am going to put my last Layla walk on here, because I'm walking her in the afternoon. I ran out of those other stickers, but that's okay, because this is a work day. Those are all work days, and this is not a work day. So, hell yeah. We'll just put Layla here. And then ideally, I would love to go out with Jesse on Friday night and go see Halloween on a date night. So I'm going to use this spend good time with good people at the bottom here to manifest I'm going to manifest my date night. No, I'm not. That's hokey artichokey, but whatever. We're just going to put that there for now. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Lynn. There we go. And I will check out that book by Joe Hill. That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, kind of like Tara with True Blood. Very different in the books. I have not watched Rings of Power yet. I'm not anti-watching Rings of Power. I have said before that Tolkien is not my favorite of fantasy authors. But I just haven't figured out if I haven't had time yet. And like there's other shows that are kind of higher on my priority list. So I will likely watch Rings of Power. I just don't know when yet. I'm not really sure. Because it just depends on what tends to what catches my eye. And like I said, after the Serpent Queen and Hot D are done, I'm very much heading in the direction of Chucky and Interview with the Vampire and Let the Right One In. Like I'm heading in the horror direction, not the fantasy direction. I'm using this Laundry You'll Never End sticker for Saturday for my sheets and other laundry. Oh, trash day. We should put this on Thursday. But I will say that they put out a little teaser with season 2 info for the Wheel of Time show, which looks delightful. I know there's a lot of people in the fandom who were disappointed with it, but I found it to be fun and I am ready to watch more of it. So there's that. I am also relatively easy to please. Let's be real here. I don't need a movie. And like, I get irritated when like critics expect that movies are supposed to be all like fucking Citizen Kane levels of like spectacular. And I'm not about that. You know, I am totally fine with watching movies that might be sucky, but at the very least are entertaining. I just want to be entertained. I'm like the fucking Russell Crowe Gladiator gif, right? Are you not entertained? I just want to be entertained. So, if a movie entertains me or a TV show entertains me, that's all I fucking need. I'm getting my car detailed after all of it. Hopefully this will be enough to keep my car from being back in the shop anytime in the near future. I'm not saging it because I have heard that with saging becoming the rage, it's becoming harder and harder to get your hands on the good stuff if you are somebody who actually practices that as part of your religion. So I'm not going to go buy sage, but car details. There's only one detail. Car details and shit. There we go. Okay, fixed it. 1:15. Wait, is it 1:30? 1:15. What time is it? 1 p.m. And then Sunday, I'm not doing any streams because I'll be taking the weekend off to spend with my family. So there'll be a regular plan with me going live that day. But, so I'll throw a video sticker up there for that. However, I will say that I am excited because we're going to try, I think, originally we were going to go see some leaves, and then the kids were going to be going to California, but now we have no idea what the fucking plans are. Jesse might need to go to New York. I don't know if the kids are going to California, so I'm leaving Sunday blank for now, except for Hot D. But what I will say is hopefully, fingers crossed, that we'll do something fun that weekend. That's my hope, because I love spending time with my family. They're people, my family's awesome and I love them. Okay, give me 1 second. I saw a question I'm going to answer before I sign off. Jen asks, as a person with an invisible disability, what advice would you give to someone in a similar situation who feels judged when using mobility aids? You know, it's funny. We kind of have run into that with Sunny and people in Sunny's life not taking them seriously when they've needed some form of a mobility aid. I guess the ultimate way to look at this, and this is again just from my experience, so take it with a grain of salt, is that if you need to use a mobility aid to get around, then fuck anybody who treats you like shit about it. Because they don't have to live your life. Give them 5 seconds in your life, and they probably would be whimpering on the floor, because when you've lived with an invisible disability for a long time, you learn to treat as normal shit that would floor somebody who is able-bodied, because they haven't had to. That's not like a dig on anybody who hasn't had to deal with chronic pain or anything like that, but it's the truth. Like, there is a certain amount of stoicism that comes with being somebody who deals with chronic pain and things like that, because you have to get used to it in order to even function. You can't get through your life on a day-to-day basis if you don't have some level of of pushing it to the side. And so if you have to use a mobility aid to help you get around, to make your day a little bit easier, then my thought is to that mobility aid, say chef's kiss. Thank you for your help. Thank you for being like Big Marie Kondo thanking her socks, except you're thanking your mobility aid. And for anybody who gives you shit, say, I would trade in a minute my mobility aid for the ability to walk around, but you can't trade your ass hattery because nobody would take it from you. I don't know. I just would look at it in a way of like, fuck off. If you're not me and you don't have to live my life, then what the hell right do you have to give me shit? I agree with you, Donna. It sucks when kids play with the mobility carts in the grocery store, both because the people who actually need them can't use them, and because the poor fucking people who work there have to deal with the fucking repercussions of that as well. Grace, that is right there. That's kind of what I was trying to say in a more eloquent way. Someone attempted to harass me for disabled parking. This is what I say. Give me your knees and I'll give you my placard. Yeah. So that's my like ultimate thought on it, is like fucking pound sand. If you're not going to be supportive of the shit I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, then you could support me by shutting the fuck up. And yeah, I'll give you guys, as I'm about to take off here, I will leave you with something my sister said to me. Don't cut your nose off to spite your face. Don't hold off on using a mobility aid if it's going to make life easier on you because you're worried about what people will think of you. What they think of you is not worth the relief that using something like that could potentially bring to you. If something will make your life better, but you're worried about how people are going to judge you for it, fuck them. They don't have to live your life. Don't suffer so that other people are more comfortable with how they view you. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And they don't even know how not worth it is. All right. Anyway, on that TED Talk note, I'm going to take off. I hope you guys like this. I love these colors. I love this kit. This Audrey 2 plant and this eyeball are my two absolute favorites. And I could just look at them all week, which I am going to. So hell yeah. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Do you have any favorite vampire movies that you'll watch, whether they're scary or not, or other horror movies? It's time for those things. So leave them in the comments below. My next horror movie I'm probably going to watch at some point this week is likely going to be, I think... Ooh, what am I going to watch? I really want to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, which is one of my personal favorites in that series. I usually watch all the Halloween movies, but I don't do that till the end of the month. But I may rewatch Halloween Kills and the 2018 Halloween because I want to go watch the new one, hopefully this weekend. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. Like it on the way out the door. And until next time, friends, peace.